If we want to keep what freedoms we have left, we have to realize something about red flag laws. They aren't precursors to infringement. They aren't a slippery slope to infringement. They're the bottom of the canyon as you lie bleeding on the jagged rocks below. Red flag laws are infringements. And the Second Amendment says, shall not be infringed. How people are still so hoodwinked by a guy who's so blatantly pro-infringement, I don't know. Dan Crenshaw, the Republican darling who's teamed up with gun-grabbing crazies like Brian Babin from Texas to do their best to make Minority Report pre-crime laws a reality in the lives of Americans, took to Twitter the other night in a meaningless attempt to calm everybody's fears. Oh, and make fun of emotional responses to his desire to make people criminals when they haven't yet committed any crime. Let's take a listen.
Wow, what a week. So, earlier this week, President Trump indicated his support for something called red flag laws. I stated on Twitter that maybe we should consider them at the state level. Maybe we should have a conversation about it, and it should be a conversation. Unfortunately, that's not what happened. What came out of it instead was hate-filled comments, lots of emotion, a lot of anger, a lot of memes. A lot of memes, by the way, which could be improved. Okay, but that's not the point. The point is that clearly even the words red flag law just emotionally triggered a lot of people. It made you guys really mad at me. And it seemed that no amount of explanation was able to quell your fears or convince you otherwise, and convince you that somehow the president and I had not betrayed you. That is not true, of course, and it's sad that many of you think that. It really is.
I really didn't want to break in here, but Dan's lying all over the place. Not only is Crenshaw for red flag laws, which are literally gun confiscation orders carried out by government agents on people those agents have determined might commit a crime in the future, Dan fully supports Brian Babin's TAPS Act legislation, which amounts to red flag laws amped up on the most potent infringement steroids you could possibly find. The TAPS Act, or H.R. 838, the Threat Assessment Prevention and Safety Act, is literally a pre-crime bill that will propel Americans into a totalitarian Minority Report scenario. And if you doubt that, I've fully documented this in 2 previous videos where I go over this freedom trampling bill in detail. I'll leave those links in the description and in the pinned comment. You really should take a look at them.
But I did have some good conversations, some good private conversations with a lot of you, and this is what I found out. Clearly, when we say red flag laws, you guys stop listening. You can't hear what we're suggesting, because understandably, you automatically assume that we are just agreeing with the left's version of that law, and we all know that the left's version would not be good. It would not protect due process. But as it turns out, that isn't what we're talking about at all. At its heart, what we're talking about is the ability to confiscate weapons when there is clear evidence that violence is about to be committed. It's that simple.
That violence is about to be committed. The ability to confiscate weapons.
And here you have it. Dan just confirmed the validity of the very fears he's trying to quell with this video. Red flag laws allow the government to infringe on your rights because they believe they have evidence that you're gonna commit a crime in the future. You haven't committed a crime, they just believe that you might commit a crime. And on that basis, they reserve for themselves the ability to violate the Fourth Amendment, confiscate your weapons, and subject you to government-sanctioned psychological evaluations. And I say without emotion, this man is your enemy. Why? Because he's willing to have his enforcers initiate force and violence on you because he believes you may one day commit a crime. That's what the TAPS Act is, and that's what red flag laws are.
And this isn't that controversial.
What the hell did you just say?
And this isn't that controversial.
What is controversial is how that due process is protected, and I think that's where a lot of these concerns are. Making sure that due process could not be abused is at the heart of any conservative solution to the supposed red flag laws and our version of what those would look like.
Those who know anything about government abuse have to be laughing their asses off right about now. Crenshaw is saying, just trust us. We're the government, and we would never, ever, ever abuse red flag laws. We would always respect the rights of the people, as he supports a law that directly violates the rights of the people.
I have laid out specific safeguards that would have to be in place for us to support any type of red flag law.
How about this for a safeguard, Dan? Shall not be infringed. Remember those 4 words? You swore to defend and protect them. What happened to that?
Okay, among them would be clear and convincing evidence, punishment for false accusations, right to attorney and cross-examination, and limited standing so that not just anybody can accuse you. For instance, not just a neighbor, not just an ex. It has to be somebody with standing, maybe a family member, or maybe only police officers. We've got a great study by Cato Institute that lays this out exactly. Here's the thing. I understand your fears about bad red flag laws. Red flag law is a general concept. There can be good ones and there can be bad ones.
You're looking at a delusional man. There can be good gun confiscation orders? Dan, you support the leftist freaking TAPS Act.
You should be against the bad ones, as I am. The whole purpose of what the president did and what I am doing in trying to start a conversation about this is so that we take control of the narrative and propose solutions that actually do protect due process rights and ensure that we aren't on the sidelines when Democrats are proposing blatantly unconstitutional laws that would not protect due process. The last thing is this. No one is saying this is definitely the solution. It's a conversation. I haven't come out in support of any particular bill or state law.
I haven't come out in support of any particular bill or state law.
I haven't come out in support of any particular bill or state law.
What the hell is wrong with you people?
I don't even know how this guy can have over 11,000 likes on this. Dan is a psychopathic liar. We got you on video, Dan, proving that you have come out in support of a bill or a state law. Matter of fact, you're a freaking co-sponsor of the pre-crime thought crime bill from Brian Babin called the TAPS Act.
Thank you all. Thank you, Katie. Thank you, Congressman Babin, for your leadership on this issue. I am proud to be a co-sponsor of the Threat Assessment, Prevention, and Safety Act. As you know, that will be called TAPS from now on, because it is something we truly need. It develops a national strategy to prevent violence and provide at-risk communities with the resources they need. The fact is that behavioral threat assessments work. They are an effective preventative tool if only we can get them in the hands of those who need them.
And guys, just so you know, this video comes from Brian Babin's YouTube channel. And while people like Crenshaw and Babin say they want to have a conversation about this,
maybe we should have a conversation about it, and it should be a conversation.
they even lie about that. Check this out. They've disabled the likes, dislikes, and comments under this video. They're not interested in a conversation. They don't care what you think about their willingness to trample the Second Amendment. So you can't even leave a comment under the video. But guess what? There's a free market workaround of that. If you still want to leave a comment on this or any URL, you can do it through the free browser extension called Dissenter. I'll leave the link for you in the description.
It's a conversation that conservatives have actually been having for a very long time. It's not new at all. And it definitely does not deserve the emotional reaction it has gotten. We are better than that. Let's be better than that.
While he virtue signals about being better than that, Dan thinks it's okay to violate his oath to the Constitution and ring in the pre-crime authoritarian state. Leave your thoughts about this for the world, the Google Thought Police, and everybody like Dan who thinks it's okay to trample on your rights and lie about it in broad daylight in the comments section below. If you guys enjoy these videos, be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, and share it with everybody you know. Also, check out over 100 hard-hitting designs in the shirt store, and if you want to support more content, hit me up on Patreon or PayPal. All those links will be in the description and in the pinned comment. I'll see you guys in the next heavily censored shadow ban video.